Hey everybody, Assalamu alaikum. Today I have a very interesting topic for you, and the name of the topic is just in front of you. It is structure and functions of cell. But the first question is that what is a cell? If you are not aware about the cell, so how can you define a cell wall, and how can you explain the cell in different types or different activities of a cell? So without wasting a single minute, let's move towards the topic. And the topic, the first question that I have, it is what is a cell? Cell is a basic building block of all the living thing. The human body is composed of a trillions of cells. They provide structure for the body, take in nutrition from food, convert these nutrition into energy, and carry out specialized function. Cell also contain the bodies of a heredity, means like DNA. Cells have many parts, each with a different function. Some of these parts, called organelles, are specialized structure that perform certain tasks within the cell. Human cell contain the different parts. The first one that we already know that we have two types of cells. The first one is prokaryotic cell and the second one is eukaryotic cell. In front of you there are two pictures. The first one is a picture of a prokaryotic cell and the second one is a picture of a eukaryotic cell. In both of the cell you can see different parts: cytoplasm, ribosomes, DNA, cell wall. And after that, in a eukaryotic cell you can see the mitochondria and Golgi bodies, and after that nucleus also. So let's move towards the different functions or different parts of a single cell. It is too much interesting that the cell is just a cell. It is too much small body, and within the cell we have different, there is another world. You can see that it is very interesting. Let's the first one that we have, whenever you enter in at home, so the first one you just knock and then you will enter, means there is a door. So what is the door of a cell? The door of a cell is known as cell wall. So let's move towards the explanation of it. A cell wall is a structural layer surrounding some types of cell just outside the cell membrane. It can be tough, flexible, and sometimes rigid. You know it will be tough because in the single cell there is many things, so that's why it's tough, and flexible because the jelly like fluid and something, these kinds of things inside the cell. After that, it provides the cell with both structural support and protection, and also act as filtering machine. Cell wall are present in most prokaryotic except the bacteria, in alga, fungi, and eukaryotic including plants, but are absent in animal. A major function is to act as pressure vessels. So the cell, when water enters to it. So let's move towards the basic function and basic things. So cell wall composition depending on organisms. In plants, the cell wall is composed mainly of strong fibers of carbohydrate polymer cellulose. Cellulose is the major component of cotton fiber and wood, and it is used in paper production. So bacterial cell wall are composed of sugar and amino acid polymer called peptide glycan. The main compounds of fungal cell wall are chitin. So this is the just made up of the small introduction of different kinds of a cell. So let's towards the other. There is a complete picture of a cell wall. There is a middle lamina, primary cell wall, and plasma membrane. You can see it is just amazing. What a creation, our God! What a creation! So when you can see, this is just act like a wall. That's why you can see it. You can call it cell wall. There is 1, 2, and 3. After that, 4 and 5 layers are here for protection of the inside organelles or inside system. Thumbs up for that. Say thanks to your Allah or God. He is just amazing. So the plant cell wall is multi-layered and consists of 3 sections. From the outermost layer of a cell wall, these layers are identified as a middle lamina, primary cell wall, and secondary cell wall. As in the picture, you can see all the things. While all plants cell have middle lamina and primary cell wall, not all have secondary cell wall. So the question is that what is a middle lamina? Its outer cell wall consists called different pectins and pectin acid in cell by helping the cell walls of adjacent cell to behind to one another. So primary cell wall, this layer is formed between the middle lamina and plasma membrane in growing plant cell. It is primarily composed of cellulose, microfibrils, and within a gel-like mixture of fiber and primary cell wall provide the strength and flexibility needed to allow for cell growth. You can see a picture here in which you can see a secondary cell wall also. So the secondary cell wall is the layer formed between the primary cell wall and plasma membrane in plants. So once the primary cell wall has supported dividing and growing, it may form a secondary cell wall. So the layer is just for support. In addition to cellulose and some secondary cell walls contain lignin. So what is the question? Lignin, that what is this? So it is the cell wall and adds water, means all the conductivity of the water of a plant in the vascular tissue. Just remember one thing, it is vascular tissues. In our vascular tissues we have phloem and xylem. So phloem are used for the food and xylem is just used for the water. A major role of a cell wall is a form of formwork for the cell, prevent other expansion and structural protein and other maintain the shape and form of the cell. Additional function of a cell wall are support. The cell wall provides mechanical strength and support. It also controls the direction of a cell growth. So after that, turgor pressure. The turgor pressure is the first against the cell wall as contain of a cell pushed to the plasma membrane against the cell wall. This pressure help a plant to remain rigid, and for of course we are talking about the turgor pressure, so it means it help to maintain the shape, but can also cause a cell to rupture. So regular growth, the cell wall sends signals for the cell to enter the cell cycle in order to divide and grow. So what is diffusion? The cell wall is allowing some substances including proteins to pass into the cell while keeping other substances out. Communication. Cell communicate with one another with the pores or channels between the plant cell walls that allow molecules and communication. signals to pass between individual plant cells. Protection. So the cell wall provide a barrier to protect against plant and other things. It's also help to prevent water loss. So the storage. The cell wall stores carbohydrates for the use of plant growth, especially in seeds. There is a simple picture of a cell of wall in front of you. It's too much amazing. And thank you so much, everybody. And this is all about the cell wall. If you have any kind of a question, just write a comment over here, and thank you.